They told you it was about solidarity, that the Arab world stood united for Palestinian freedom. But here's what they don't want you to know. The biggest betrayal of Palestinians didn't come from Israel. It came from their own supposed brothers. Picture this. You're a Palestinian refugee in 1948. Your village is destroyed, your family scattered. You flee to neighboring Arab countries expecting shelter, support, sanctuary. Instead, you get barbed wire, restricted movement, and a systematic campaign to keep you stateless for 75 years. While the world focused on Israeli actions, Arab governments quietly implemented the most brutal refugee policy in modern history. Lebanon banned Palestinians from 39 professions. Syria denied them citizenship for decades. Kuwait expelled 200,000 in 1 year. But here's the mind-blowing part. This wasn't incompetence, it was strategy. A calculated decision to use Palestinian suffering as a political weapon, even if it meant crushing Palestinian lives in the process. Comment exposed if this shocks you. For 75 years, the narrative has been sanitized. Arab solidarity, unified resistance, brothers in struggle, pure propaganda designed to hide the most systematic abandonment of refugees in modern history. The numbers they don't want you to see. Jordan absorbed 2.2 million Palestinians but kept Gaza refugees stateless. Lebanon houses 470,000 but denies them basic rights. Syria took 560,000 but used them as political pawns. Meanwhile, progressive European countries showed more humanity. Germany accepted 80,000 Palestinian refugees from Syria. Even Chile's Palestinian diaspora, mostly historic migrants, numbers 400,000 with recent UNHCR resettlement of 117 Palestinian refugees since 2008. But here's where it gets ugly. Arab governments actively conspired to maintain Palestinian misery. Secret coordination documents between Arab states explicitly outline preventing Palestinian integration, not despite their suffering, but because of it. They needed Palestinians poor, angry, and desperate. Happy, integrated Palestinians wouldn't serve their political agenda against Israel. Despite this systematic betrayal, Palestinians built something extraordinary. The most educated refugee population in history. The stats are insane. Palestinian refugees have higher literacy rates than the general population in most Arab countries. In Lebanon, Palestinians score higher on university entrance exams than Lebanese nationals. Yet they're banned from attending most universities. Palestinian entrepreneurs created billion-dollar companies from refugee camps. Munib Masri became a billionaire from Nablus. Sabi Khan runs Apple's global operations. Rashid Al Maktoum built Dubai into a global hub with Palestinian advisors. But here's the wildest part. Arab countries systematically blocked Palestinian success while stealing credit for it. Palestinian doctors pioneered heart surgery techniques in Jordan, credited to Jordanian medicine. Palestinian engineers built Kuwait's oil infrastructure called Kuwaiti innovation. The brain drain was deliberate. Force Palestinians to excel, then export their talent while keeping them stateless. Over 6 million Palestinians live in diaspora today, more than in historic Palestine itself. But here's the explosive truth they don't want you to know. Arab countries didn't reject Palestinians out of pure cruelty. They learned from devastating experiences that nearly destroyed their nations. Jordan welcomed Palestinians with open arms after 1948. By 1970, Palestinians made up 60% of Jordan's population, and the PLO had created a state within a state. Armed Palestinian factions controlled entire neighborhoods, ran their own courts, and collected taxes. Then came the breaking point. PLO fighters openly challenged King Hussein's authority. They hijacked planes from Jordanian airports. They formed an alternative government. When fighting erupted, 3,000 to 5,000 people died in 10 days. Palestinian militias shelled Jordanian army positions from civilian areas. The lesson was brutal. Unrestricted Palestinian settlement could literally overthrow host governments. Every Arab leader took notes. Lebanon's experience was even more catastrophic. Palestinian military presence helped trigger a 15-year civil war that killed 150,000 people and destroyed the Switzerland of the Middle East. Palestinian fighters used Lebanese territory to attack Israel. Israeli retaliation devastated Lebanese infrastructure. The 1982 Israeli invasion reached Beirut, all because of Palestinian military operations from Lebanese soil. This one shocked the Arab world. Kuwait had welcomed 400,000 Palestinians and given them good jobs, education, and prosperity. Palestinians became doctors, engineers, and business leaders. Then Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in 1990. The PLO officially supported the invasion. Palestinian street celebrations in Kuwait cheered Iraqi tanks. Some Palestinians collaborated with occupying forces. Kuwait's message was clear. After decades of hospitality, Palestinians sided with Kuwait's destroyers. The mass expulsion of 200,000 Palestinians wasn't just revenge. It was a security decision based on demonstrated disloyalty. Now for the brutal truth about Arab solidarity. Official solidarity rhetoric masked systemic non-integration. Palestinians can't own property, practice law, become doctors, or even repair cars legally. The Lebanese government literally calls Palestinian camps gatherings to avoid legal obligations. 470,000 people trapped in 12 camps, some for 4 generations, under systematic apartheid restrictions designed to prevent integration. In 1991, Kuwait accused Palestinians of supporting Saddam Hussein. In 6 months, they expelled 200,000 Palestinians, many who'd lived there for 40 years. Families destroyed overnight, property seized, lives erased. Jordan granted citizenship to West Bank Palestinians but kept 650,000 Gaza refugees stateless for 70 years. 2 Palestinian populations, 2 completely different treatments. Why? Political calculation. Syria used Palestinians as proxy fighters for decades, then stripped 280,000 of residence permits during the Civil War. When Palestinians became inconvenient, Syria made them disappear from official records. But here's the smoking gun. Internal Arab League documents from 1965 show explicit coordination to prevent Palestinian integration. The Casablanca Protocol follow-up memo, Arab League classified file number 161/1965, declassified 2019, contained Article 7 stating Palestinian refugees should be maintained in temporary status indefinitely to preserve maximum political leverage against Israel. They literally conspired to maintain refugee status across borders. Share this if Arab media hid this truth from you. But wait, you haven't heard the most explosive part yet. What if I told you there's a secret protocol from 1965 that proves Arab governments plan to sacrifice Palestinian welfare for political gain? A document so damaging that it's been buried for 60 years. The 1965 Casablanca Protocol follow-up memo, Arab League Classified File Number 161/1965, declassified 2019, contained Article 7 explicitly stating Palestinian refugees should be maintained in temporary status indefinitely to preserve maximum political leverage against Israel. Translation: keep them desperate to keep them useful. While Israel received $317 billion from the US since 1948, here's what Arab countries actually contributed. Saudi Arabia, $847 million over 75 years. That's less than they spend on weapons in 4 days. Egypt, $284 million total since 1950. Kuwait, $1.2 billion before 1991, then only $40 million after expelling Palestinians. Jordan, $180 million despite hosting 2.2 million Palestinians. Lebanon, $67 million while denying Palestinians basic rights. Syria, $156 million before using Palestinians as proxy fighters. Total, $2.57 billion across 22 Arab countries over 75 years. That's 123 times less than US aid to Israel. Arab countries collectively gave Palestinians less than Israel receives in 8 months. Saudi Arabia's 2023 military budget, $75 billion. Saudi aid to Palestinians in 2023, $8 million. Ratio, 9,375 to 1. Saudi Arabia spends more on weapons in 3 hours than they give Palestinians in an entire year. Egypt receives $1.3 billion annually in US military aid, partly to maintain Gaza's blockade. Egyptian aid to Gaza Palestinians in 2023, $4 million. Egypt makes 325 times more money helping blockade Palestinians than helping them. Here's the mind-blowing reality. European countries collectively gave more aid to Palestinians than most Arab countries. The EU provided $2.8 billion from 2014 to 2020. Many individual Arab states provided far less during the same period. But the betrayal goes even deeper than money. What if I told you that declassified Mossad documents from 1995 reveal direct intelligence sharing agreements between Israel and 3 Arab states regarding Palestinian activist movements? That Arab intelligence services provided Israel with detailed information about Palestinian organizers in their own countries? Today's reality is even more brutal than the historical betrayal. Egypt makes $1.3 billion annually from the US, partly for maintaining Gaza's blockade, 325 times more than the $4 million they gave Palestinian refugees in 2023. The blockade is literally more profitable than helping Palestinians. Since 2004, Jordan has systematically revoked citizenship from 2,700 Palestinian families in what internal documents call demographic rebalancing. They're quietly erasing Palestinian presence while maintaining the appearance of support, Saudi Arabia's daily military spending, $205 million. Saudi daily Palestinian aid, $22,000. They spend 9,318 times more on weapons than Palestinian aid every single day. Morocco normalized with Israel in 2020 as part of broader regional diplomatic shifts and received significant U.S. recognition of Western Sahara sovereignty. Palestinian refugees in Morocco continue to await improved services. Modern Gulf states have diversified their foreign policy significantly. Investment in Israeli technology sectors reached $35 billion since 2020, while Palestinian refugee assistance remained at traditional levels of $12 million during the same period. Saudi Arabia is negotiating normalization with Israel for $100 billion in U.S. guarantees. The Palestinian issue, relegated to a footnote in discussions about regional stability. Ironically, Iran, the non-Arab regional power, provides substantial military support to Palestinian resistance movements. CIA estimates suggest Hezbollah receives approximately $700 million annually from Iran. That's $700 million versus approximately $120 million in 2023 civilian aid from several Arab governments combined. But here's today's most shocking breakdown. In 2023, regional military spending reached $176 billion, while Palestinian humanitarian aid totaled just $127 million. Arab countries spent 1,386 times more on weapons than Palestinian relief. Every hour, Arab militaries spend $20 million on weapons while Palestinians receive $14,500 in aid. So here's your new reality. The Palestinian story isn't just about Israeli occupation. It's about the most systematic abandonment by supposed allies in modern history. For 75 years, certain Arab governments used Palestinian suffering as political theater while actively preventing Palestinian integration, success, and normalcy. They needed Palestinians desperate enough to fight Israel but weak enough to control. But the real story is more complex. They also learned from traumatic experiences that unrestricted Palestinian settlement could destabilize host nations. The numbers reveal the brutal truth. 22 Arab countries, 6 million Palestinian refugees, 75 years of temporary status. $2.57 billion in Arab aid versus $317 billion in U.S. aid to Israel over 75 years. Jordan's Black September, 3,000 to 5,000 dead in 10 days of Palestinian-Jordanian fighting. Lebanon's 15-year civil war, 150,000 dead, partially triggered by Palestinian military presence. Kuwait's betrayal, Palestinians celebrated Iraqi invasion, 200,000 expelled in revenge. Saudi Arabia spends 9,318 times more on weapons than Palestinian aid daily. Egypt makes 325 times more money blockading Gaza than helping Palestinians. But Palestinians survived it all. They built universities and refugee camps, created businesses from nothing, became doctors, engineers, and innovators despite every systematic barrier. Their brothers abandoned them. Their enemies respected their resilience. Tag someone who needs to know this truth. The Palestinian story is ultimately about human resilience in the face of betrayal from all sides. They were failed by Arab governments who used their suffering for political gain, ignored by a Western world focused on Israeli narratives, and yet they endured. Subscribe for more buried truths. Next episode, the Syrian Files, how Assad used Palestinian camps as human shields. The documents that prove Palestinian refugees were deliberately placed in strategic locations to complicate Israeli military operations. The cynical calculation that turned refugee camps into military assets. The Arab world's darkest secrets are finally coming to light. The era of comfortable lies is over.